Okay, so this video just quickly looks at the difference between track and heading, which on the Airbus we have. So you can see the runways just come into sight, and I'm on an automatic approach. The instrument landing system is engaged. We've just captured the glide slope, but what I'm interested in is seeing the difference between a heading, if I was to just select the runway magnetic heading, which is 088 in this case, and with the wind we've got, which you can see on the screen is top left of the ND, is 149 degrees. That's where the wind is coming from, and it's at 16 knots. So there is definitely a difference between, at the top of the ND rows you can see our heading is 95 degrees. So I'm having to correct about 7 degrees to the right because of the wind. Now if I just lined up and selected my heading, so let's just try that. So I'm going to pull the heading knob and I'm going to set a heading of 088, and once the aircraft is on heading, we can immediately see that the localizer is starting to wander off to the right. But although I'm on the right heading now for the runway, so I'm flying in line with it, parallel to it, the distance or the track is incorrect. I'm not flying straight at the runway. In fact, I'm going off to the left, as you can see. So I'm just going to press the localizer button on its own, and the altitude button, so we come out of the approach, otherwise I'm going to hit the ground. So you can see the problem with, in fact we're climbing to 2,400 feet now. You can see the problem if I was on a straight heading, then it blows me off course if there's any wind. So let's come back round and try and see what we get if we select track instead of heading hold. Okay, so we're going to try the same thing. This time I'm going to, when we're on the localizer, so I'm just going to select localizer this time, and we'll see what happens if I then select flight path angle and track on the button just above the autopilots there. The aircraft is capturing the localizer. Notice it says localizer star. Once we're established on the localizer properly, the star part will disappear because it's an Airbus. There we go. So localizer is now locked on. I'll wait for it to settle down, and we're nicely lined up with the runway centre line. So we are 9 miles out, and once this settles down, there we can just see the runway coming into view over to the left of the screen. And again we've got this wind from the right, so our actual heading is much greater than the runway magnetic heading because we're having to allow for drift. Now suppose the localizer went down. If I was to pull on the what is now the track button, and you can see that it's saying 090. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to 088. I'll just see if on a track of 088 whether we stay relatively nicely lined up with the runway. I think you can see that the aircraft is, even though we're on the 088 in the window, because it's now a track and not a heading, we're doing quite well. So if I was using raw information from the localizer, or if I was visually flying the aircraft, I could see that I'm okay at the moment.